Hi, Eric Wilson here, independent licensed mechanic with 30 years of experience. In the next 6 to 7 minutes, I'm going to show you the inside story in this 2012 SLK 350 Mercedes Benz, so you can make yourself an informed decision. Now, coming in on the front right tire, you've got about 50% tread on all season radios, so down but definitely not out. Now, coming behind the front right tire, this is the right outer tie rod. This is the most important part in the entire car because it's the only thing that holds the wheel to the steering. It is tight. This is the lower right ball joint, and there's two front and a rear lower ball joint, and it is tight, critical because it holds the wheel to the chassis. So this is the front sway bar link connected from here up to here, and important to be connected because this is what controls the sway when you go around a corner. Your brakes, you've got about 30,000 K left on your front brakes. Now, if you notice this tube right here, this is the front strut, and it was full of oil. If it was leaking, you see it leaking all the way down here. That is bone dry. So brake-wise, brake-wise, leak-wise, and suspension-wise, I don't see anything of any concern on the front right. Now, speaking of leaks, this is the bottom of the transmission. If it was leaking, you see it all along here. This is the bottom of the motor, and again, another leak point would be right here, and I don't see any leaks there at all. Now, this right here is your catalytic converter. Nothing wrong with it. Trouble is, people are stealing it. They're reaching under, they're going cut, and they're going cut, and you've got yourself about a $2,000 repair. Now, if you buy the car, I'm going to put stainless steel cables on this cat and this cat, because there's two, and it's going to stop that from happening, and that costs you nothing, my friend. If you buy the car, simply contact me, and I'm going to make this thing safe for you. Now, coming across to the front left tire. Okay, get about 50% tread on all season radio, so down but definitely not out. About 30,000 K on your brakes. Your left lower ball joint, front and back, tight and tight. Your left outer tie rod is tight, important to be. Your left sway bar link connected from there up to there. Your shock, if you follow it down, again, full of oil. If it was leaking, you'd see it dripping all the way down there. Brake-wise, leak-wise, suspension-wise, I'm not seeing anything of any concern on this so far. Okay, now on the right rear tire, you got about 40% tread, a little less on the rear than you have on the front, but 40% tread, down but definitely not out. Now coming behind the front, the rear right tire, you got about 40,000 K. You got a little more brake in the rear than you got on the front. Now this right here, if you see this tube right here, this is your shock. Again, full of oil. If it was leaking, you'd see it right there, good and dry. This is your right spring suspension, and that's intact and doing its job. This is your outer CV boot. Now this outer CV boot is full of grease, and if it was ripped, you see it dripping, you see grease everywhere, and that's important not to be, because it lubricates the axle and keeps it going forward. This is the inner CV boot that comes out of the diff, and again, if it was ripped, you see grease everywhere, no leaks. Now, more importantly, right here, this is a leak point. If it was going to leak, you'd see it leaking right here, and you see oil all here on the rear diff. Another leak point would be right here, where the drive shaft goes into the rear diff, and you'd see leaking right here, good and dry. So, all your connection points here, all your control arms, tight, control arm tight. I am not seeing any concern brake-wise, leak-wise, or suspension-wise on the right rear. Coming into the left rear, again about 40% tread, a little less on the rear than you have on the front, and coming behind the left rear tire, about 40,000 K on your rear brakes. Your rear shock, again, full of oil. If it was leaking, you'd see it right away, good and dry. Your rear left spring suspension intact, doing its job. Your rear outer CV boot, good and dry. Your rear inner CV boot, good and dry. More importantly, this is a leak point right here. If it was going to leak, it's going to leak right there, and that is dry. All your connections here, and here are all tight. So brake-wise, leak-wise, suspension-wise, I don't see anything of any concern. In fact, I don't see even any surface rust under here. It's very clean. Okay, coming in on the front left tire, I want to point out this is your spring suspension on the front left, and if these springs were broken, you see it right here. That is intact. So your your left front suspension is intact and doing well. Your rotor is good and clean. No issues with your brakes. Just a quick pan of the tire there. Nice looking rims. In fact, I'm just going to give you a quick pan of the entire car. There is no dings that I can see on this car. Okay, just follow it along here, and yeah, your left rear tire, your rotor is very clean, no scores, no issues with your brakes, good looking rims, and just a quick perusal of the back. No scratches, no dings that I can see. Definitely no rust issues. Okay, your right rear rotor, again, you're very clean, so no issues with your brakes. Got lots of miles left on that. And follow it around to the front right, and your front right spring suspension intact, doing its job. Your right front rotor good and clean, and good looking rim. And now a quick perusal of the front, and no dings, no issues that I can see, so very clean. Now, you've only got 83,888, so definitely not high K. No cracks in your windshield. Dash looking very clean, very impressive. And lastly, checking out our, and oh yeah, AC, nice and cold. Now I'm going to take you out and show, oh, and there is no check engine lights either. And I'm going to take you out and show you the condition of the motor now. Okay, you got the V6 motor, twin turbo. Definitely no lack of power, and I am not hearing anything of any concern in it. Shot of the exhaust with the motor running. Very clean, no issues. Now, this is my estimation of this motor and car, and I don't see anything of any concern. I mean, the rear tires are down about 40%. Other than that, I'm not seeing anything of any concern. The motor is no issues, I can tell. Very clean. Now, remember, if you buy the car, contact me, because I'm going to put the free catalytic theft protection system and a 10% fuel saving device that I've used for 30 years, never fails. And that, my friend, is free of charge if you buy the vehicle. Hopefully this helps you make an informed decision. Have a good one.